What's popular YouTube? Another day, another demo, and another idea that we're going to explore into. This one is going to be an X-Ray on demo with the Team Liquid versus Gambit Inferno match. If you didn't watch it at Pro League, it was a very exciting match to watch, and it was one of Liquid playing extremely well on T side as well as winning the map, but Gambit also playing well in spots. And so I wanted to watch this demo to watch for both T sides and compare what Gambit do on their T side, their particular tempos. And I think that this demo is actually very good for that. So that's something to pay specific attention to. And I think, as always on Inferno, I'll also talk about a little bit of banana, a little bit of top mid, a little bit about rotations, and compromising spots is also a huge theme of this game. So there's a lot of stuff in here. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the new style of videos. And let me know, of course, if you want to see more of these. And of course, because we got Mo Stacks editing these videos, I can do more stuff that's just full demos, X-Ray on, where, you know, I might have to rewind here or there, or stuff might need to get cut out to keep it concise. So if you liked it, again, leave a like, sub, follower, notifications, all that stuff, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Or enjoy the video.
What's happening? So, are you looking forward to this?
Yeah, I actually have a friend here. You know, it's so.
You have
so
a friend?
I have
If you like to support my content, support my one and only sponsor, DJEsports.io. Use my referral link in the description for 400 free DJT, which you can use to enter into the Prediction World Series, where you can predict the outcomes of some of the major esports events, including Dota's The International, the CSGO PGL Major, and the League World Finals coming up this fall-winter season, for a total prize pool of 10 million USDT. If you use your 400 DJT, make sure to drop by their Discord and ask ModMail for 800 more. Happy betting, and thanks for supporting me. What's popular YouTube? Another day, another demo. And of course, as you've seen probably in the pre-intro that was recorded after the game, I am here to watch the Gambit versus Liquid match, a match that hasn't happened before. And we're here to not only just reabsorb this match after watching it live just yesterday or the day before, but to talk more in depth about what we saw on the T side and how special it was that Liquid were able to take this map, because it's not every day that a team is able to take a map over Gambit. And I mean, I'm not saying this in jest, but to do it online is maybe even more impressive, right? Just because Gambit are still getting acclimated to the LAN life. That is not at all to say that Gambit choked on LAN or anything like that. They made it to the semis of Cologne, one of the hardest LANs that we'll have this year. Fantastic still result for them. But it is to say that, of course, they're the team that have built their brand online and are much more comfortable there. And, you know, clearly we're not at 100% on LAN. So coming back online, I think it's even, you know, more of a test, I think, of Liquid, honestly, who themselves have quite the LAN resume between the 5 players on the roster. And actually, it was Grim's kind of first major LAN. He had a fantastic map or two at the LAN that showed his peak level and showed that he was, you know, wasn't uncomfortable, but at the same time, it wasn't like he was their star player, consistent carry, and all of that stuff. You know, in the same fashion that Bit was able to go to his first LAN and win it at the same time. Really unreal stuff from Bit this year. Probably going to see this kid in the top 20. Didn't even see this kid last year, so that's a huge move. Now, in this matchup, as we talk over the pistol round and maybe this anti-eco, just to get an idea of what to expect, I think we obviously saw a lot of ferocity out of Team Liquid, and the pace was relatively high, but I think that it just became very high level from both sides, and this is what will be, I think, the most interesting thing to talk about. So here we have the exchange of grenades down Banana. Grim's going to run away from this and drop a smoke in his wake, and you know, he could just get away. He could just drop the smoke, but if he drops the smoke, at least they might have to go ahead and clear out logs or clear out the close pocket on the left once again. And that's what they're sending a player down to the bottom of Banana to do. And all the while, since they cleared it out so fast, this might catch Liquid off guard. We see the rotations have already started to come in, but Liquid have moved equally quickly. And that's what made me feel like that this game was actually quite high level. The moves to retake for map control were incredibly fluid from Gambit, but Liquid were still able to keep it competitive despite this threat that they might the other team might go ahead and seek out map control. And I think you can really tell when a roster is not lucid, when they are slow to make these moves, especially on Inferno, where you can't just completely swing back and forth over and over again. Now, just as Liquid moved towards A and saw the rotations coming in fast, they decided to honk it all the way back to Banana quickly and juggle the rotations in a way that Gambit didn't expect. So this quick, decisive calling, I think, is insanely important. Not because it's like, oh, it's the random thing to do, but you have to understand that every time you leave a part of the map to go to another with your majority, you're always at risk of new spots being taken over for you to have to clear again when you come in, when you try to rotate back. So if you try to go back through Banana after having majority at top mid, then there's always the threat that someone pushed to the bottom of Banana, that they have a two-man stack here, one at logs and the opposite crossfiring, one player could be at car, all these new threats. And you think, well, do we want to take our fight all the way back to Banana and potentially have to go through that, or should we commit through A? And versus eco rounds, that's when it is the most difficult to be able to, rationalize the idea of either committing to one decision or changing, because it is so volatile. The nature of pistol rounds, or rounds with pistols, I should say, it's so volatile, and it's kind of constantly this battle of like, okay, since they have pistols, will they just stack? Or since they have pistols, are they going to be willing to rotate back and forth over and over again? So, okay, now we're into the third round of the game. Stewie gets a kill up here at the top of Banana, one on the site. That's Axel walking out. Of course, another pistol round. You can't read in too much into too many kills, but Stewie spots and kills one, spots another, doesn't get that frag. It's a lineup that doesn't work in his favor. And we're going to see, of course, presence from some more CTs. Now, I want to point out something that's majorly important, okay? We're at 1:12 minutes, and Stewie has already gotten this kills, gotten the information, and baited a smoke grenade out, okay? How many times do we see teams take way too long to make that first move, just to probe into a site, and whether or not they see too much, they sometimes get left in a position where there's not enough time to safely execute, wait out smokes like these. So on these anti-ecos, if it's possible to get the map control quickly and you think there's an opening here, like for example, the top of Banana or the top of mid, try to get it early, because you don't want to have to come in at 20 seconds and be forced to run through a smoke. But instead what we've got is Gambit using their two smokes early to try to encourage the A-Wrap, but Liquid having more than enough time to wait it out, comfortably go ahead and approach the site. And again, as we've seen in the last round or two, are moving very fluidly. Now, this is very important in the way that we approach here. You can have Stewie at this half wall and a player behind him flashing who can help him turn the corner. And we see the flash comes over. I'm going to leave it on this. I'm going to leave it on caster control, so I don't. I can't be trusted. I can't be trusted to take over the observing controls. One thing that's really important here is that we have the flash come over from B to let Stewie know that they're going to retake it. So what Gambit were trying to do was look for a timing where Liquid would be attacking. They're looking for the exact timing that Liquid are attacking while they're not playing anti-flash, while they all turn the corner, for them to come and peek out. Gambit's ideal situation was they saw Stewie there. He gets full flashed. He can't escape. Nafany dinks and kills him. And then they can actually just go back, or they can play sandbags. Now, we'll get to see what the response is. And Nafany actually snuck out to sandbags here. He will go completely unnoticed, because in this position, they flashed to take top Banana. So they made it seem like they had checked it but haven't committed. And Nafany instantly punishes here on Team Liquid, who have slowed it down to a crawl. We're super confident that there would be no one here. But Fallen finds this instant trade. And he does this by zoning. You see that Fallen throws that Molotov. That's not just to throw it for no reason. He throws a Molotov because it clears out the entirety of the back of the sandbags, which means that Nafany either has to be fighting by swinging or running all the way back, or just in front of the sandbags. And that makes the fight a lot easier for Fallen, because he knows exactly where to aim. So that's what I would call a zoning Molotov. In the same way you'd have kind of zoning utility in, I guess, MOBAs or something like that. But zoning is a very important function of the Molotovs. And the other way in which they work where you don't always get to see your Molotovs. So if you throw a Molotov down and it gets smoked, then that's information as well. Okay, I wasn't even going to write Gambit into the potential of winning this post plant, so we're going to go move on ahead. Liquid, after getting that kill after Fallen, recovered the round, taking the site. The retake is a little bit too low odds, so they don't even try it. This is a car flash that Shiro is setting up for his teammates to come and peek off the half wall or just throw their nades safely. And sometimes we're going to see the T's break out into this position, all right? One of the best players to watch for this spot, at least back in the day, was Device for me. It's a position that's kind of hard to nade. Obviously, Gambit know how to nade it, so it's something that you use once in a while or you use based on tendencies because it can get debonated and you can get hit very hard. But usually how it goes is this place that Stewie is standing kind of works like an Olaf smoke on cobblestone. And if you don't know what that is, basically... or like playing Olaf on cobblestone, excuse me. So the way cobble used to work was that you would have the long entrance to cobble with a smoke at the end, and Olaf would always push his way into the side of the smoke so he could see a little bit. And what this does is, let's look at Stewie, for example, in this position. If this smoke was here and Stewie wasn't, and Grim was here, and Liquid wanted to take over B control, they could not say for sure that someone hadn't pushed to logs or hadn't pushed to where Stewie's position was. So that means that to do it safely at this level, to clear out these positions, you'd have to use either Molotov and a nade or a flash, or you'd have to sacrifice a player to clear something, or you potentially clear something and get shot from the top of half wall. But just with having Stewie here, even though he's liable to get hit by grenades, they know that once they want to approach banana control again, they have a camera right here, okay? In Stewie, who can guarantee that no one's come down, they don't have to clear out logs, they use a single flashbang to help him peek, and now they can transition into the next part of the take. So here, Molotov comes down at the corner where the Molotov is designed just for the Opper, to push the Opper back, and to also separate a player from sandbags, which can, obviously throw the setup into disarray if they are playing like that. And another big thing about this is we see, okay, they mollied off Shiro, but look, Shiro could have just come back. But if Liquid go through different protocols, use that Molotov, and then start to approach the top of banana, it's not safe for Shiro to come back. So half the game sometimes in Counter-Strike is just getting the Opper to fall off their angle, because it's sometimes it's resource intensive to come back. In the same way, it would have been resource intensive for Liquid to take over banana again. For Shiro, it'd be unsafe or a risk to try to come back to the top of banana without any nades, any teammates, or anything like that, especially being solo. So now that they pushed him back, they have Gambit guessing, right? They pushed him back, and now they have Gambit guessing. They've got a heavy stack over towards A, so Gambit are stacking blindly towards the right side of the map, and they do this sometimes. They trust themselves, which is obvious. It's also an important thing to do. Half of the game, if you look at high-level Inferno matches, is about trying to get information, but you can't always guarantee it, especially if the nades are getting better and the Ts are getting better at safely taking over map control. You cannot always do that. So, Stewie takes a huge risk and swings at the top of banana to try to see what's happening on this side of the map, and now he's going to come back to A. And you can tell Liquid, I think, are a little bit suspicious about the idea that Gambit have rotated or stacked over to this side of the map, because they haven't seen an appropriate response back in their direction, and they are correct as they try to get Gambit to give them an opening kill. Gambit do not give them that, and now it looks like a little bit like Team Liquid are lost. So there's a spot where you can do kind of everything right, but if the other team figures out what your final intention is, whether or not you give them a audio cue or a visual, they just read it correctly, then you are going to be in for some trouble. And the main remedy to that situation, in my opinion, is to make sure you give yourself at least enough time to be able to take a site that you have a low percentage chance of winning. And you could see there that Liquid were taking a bit too much time, to the point that they were uncomfortable. And the molly that ended up landing in lane, they could have baited that molly out, 5 seconds earlier and had a few more seconds on the clock to clear things out. But instead, we're very discombobulated and very uncomfortable. And these are the kind of gaps that really do make the difference at this level, which is 1 round that turns into a save, which is 2 rounds, which is a round that Gambit will not lose versus them in the next half. And it's very important to think about it like that, right? Because it's far less about who is coming up with more innovations and who has got like the finer details fine-tuned, and more so who can do 95% of the innovations but make far less mistakes, because there is always going to be some gap, some weakness, a whiff spray here or there to let you in. So who's got the best punishes and who themselves are going to make the least mistakes, that is what defines really how good you are at the very highest level. And we have this same handshake agreement to go for some early banana control aggression, but sometimes on the CT side, you're pretending to want to fight bottom banana. You want to let them know you say you're going to fight, but you're not actually going to commit to it. And in this position, Gambit do fall out, and this is actually a spot where Nafny looked uncomfortable but couldn't leave. Didn't have a flash to help him to get out of there, and they totally punished. So here it is, a small gap in the defense for Gambit. Liquid get right in, and here to punish the rotation, they get a couple of nades off on inters as well, reading what the next move is for Gambit. I mean, this is more than just a good read, right? When Gambit received these nades, this is a message on these nades that we know what you're going to do next. Next round, you have to be worried. You might not want to play in CT spawned in rounds moving forward. And now Liquid actually explode onto the site after doing some damage to the setup. Hobbit himself almost catches Stewie in an important spot, but Axel will eventually take him out with this bank grenade off the wall that lands on default. Stewie did not have enough health to be able to survive that. Really important part about this situation is that Liquid at least have banana control. If they didn't have banana control and Hobbit was this far up con, things would be really messy, right? Because you could have your player take over banana, kill Fallen and Pool. This opens up the CT rotation in, who don't have to worry about the right side. They can only worry about quad and oranges, while Hobbit can clear out oranges, and then your teammates coming in from CT are like pretty much completely safe. So even though it seems like Liquid are in total power position in this spot, it really comes down to the fact that they have banana control. So they have like a good setup with banana control where they can see to the bottom banana as well. That opens up spots all over the map, all over the site. You have to really think about that, what you can see and what you can communicate to your teammates that you can see. It's like if you're the player in CT and you're not thinking about what your teammates are doing coming in and wrapping con, then they're not going to be able to, then you're going to go ahead and start clearing angles that you don't need to. So very important to think about that as well. What can my teammates see and what do I have to look at now? So Nafly and Elige are usually the dynamic duo to take over Hall's control. And I think one of them have been taking out here, yeah, in Elige. Just wanted to make sure it was him. Sometimes they switch it up. This flash is the God Flash that Fallen is about to throw. And this will allow them basically to get into the site. They start running with it, and they're going to go with the flashes that come out. But we had Nafny kind of dodge these absolutely perfectly, standing on top of oranges, but I think he falls back to nade himself, and eventually Gambit will clean up. Rotations are just good enough, but they got Liquid to have to execute all the way through a smoke. So, not winning the opening kill can sometimes be damning, and that's a position where we can see Gambit really know how to run that advantage into the ground. If I'm not mistaken, this is a round that gets converted off of the eco from Team Liquid. And you see one very small thing about this, okay? For the eco here, they're at risk of getting opt from a player who's sitting in CT spawn, but they're on the eco, so they want to take some kind of risk. Sometimes that's why you see people get opt in this position, is because they want a very, very frictionless entrance into the site, so they don't throw any nades over the site, okay? They don't throw any nades they don't throw the CT smoke that goes over the site. They throw the God Flash that has very low clearance and will pop right in their faces. And then they throw that smoke while they're peeking into CT spawn because it's the fastest. It's the riskiest, but it's the fastest. And now Hobbit will play top of second oranges, which is an insanely strong spot to play in. But, you know, despite it being very strong, he plays it very, very well. 4 kills, and I believe enters will finish the final one through the smoke in CT spawn. And that is round 1 and done. Again, we get this car flash setup, and we have Shiro coming to take a quick peek to the bottom of steps. And Team Liquid throw the throw a smoke on the half wall to deny any vision so that they can get set up, make sure they can get the bottom of banana as easily as possible, and also always pose the threat of being able to get up to the half wall whenever they want. Every once in a while, you might throw in a push where you will push through the smoke with a flash or just turn the half wall, and that half wall is such a critical piece of cover for the T side. Do not underrate how important that is. Both to know if someone's behind it on the CT side and also to use it and threaten it on the T side. This is a very interesting point in the round because Grim stayed on banana, leave their options open, and they made it really seem like they were going to try to take A. And now this fake kind of fails a bit just because Hobbit is here, and Grim is looking to phase this smoke, and Hobbit will just absolutely destroy him. That's, yeah, no chance for him. I think Hobbit has just like such insane game sense when it comes to stuff like that. You're gonna see those rotations are so good from him all the time. When he feels like some trouble is there, he doesn't ever blow his own cover. And Nafany plays this position beautifully, but he does end up getting traded out, and this means that the bomb can get planted. And I believe that now they can actually win in the post plant. So let's see how they approach the post plant. All right, if this was a 2v2 spot, you wouldn't see Fallen peeking here. Right, and I want to draw that because in a 2v3 there has the philosophy changes a bit to let's make this even numbers, then let's play tighter. In a 2v2 you have the advantage. In a 3v2 it might be closer to 50-50. Yes, it's still pretty good situation for the T side, but it's not completely won. And the idea is that if you do take a quick peek out early in one spot or another, then you can catch someone throwing a grenade. You can really mess up the retake plans entirely in case you kill someone before they can throw their grenades, and you also might be just opening up a new position for you to play in. So you see Fallen try to take that risk. Now he doesn't get that kill, he takes some damage. Things get a bit hairy, but Stewie is also in a spot to be able to make something happen. So he finds this 1 kill into CT spawn, and now he's a bit lurky. But he has this sense of knowing exactly what's coming his way. Fallen will get taken out, and Stewie almost turns for that 180 kill on Shiro, but Shiro takes him out. Stewie runs out of bullets. M4 Silence would have got him both. I'm just kidding. M4 Silence, and at least you didn't have to taste victory, okay? M4 Silence there, and at least you can face the facts that you were never going to win that clutch. The M4A4, and it gave you the hope, and it takes it away. Is that worse? You decide. And now another eco for Liquid. This flash is also to shy any oppers off. It of course can be multi-purpose just if there are people there under porch, whatever it is. But the specific, most important thing there is to make sure that the opper can get off. It also flashes this, I don't know what to call this corner, like the Hunter Rops corner right at the top of mid. I'll show you in a future round. There's a great example of how it gets used. But yeah. They throw that specifically for that, and then this flash lands over the balcony for the players on the balcony, for the players in the pit, for the players in the back of the site. Enters, eats that, and then Elige starts to find a trade here. Grim with a fantastic deagle shot over to the corner of Moto, and now Nafany as a rotator and barely has any hopes of being able to win this. This is a clean exec, and they were able to get in before Gambit were able to throw the mollies on lane. And just finding that small timing is exactly the same reason as we talked about earlier of why you're trying to throw the very low clearance grenades, okay? The ones that appear on your screen for a second and you're in. And sometimes nades are thrown with specific timings, like you want your smokes to not bloom too early because you've got other nades to set up, flashes to come in. Executes are layered upon timings and timings and timings, so when you see on the ecos, usually what you're seeing is a few of the most efficient grenades possible with the least notice possible, and then just balls to the wall, running out with your guns, trying to get that opening duel. See if you can catch someone with a nade out, see if you can catch someone off guard. And now this is a very viable way to play Inferno as well. You'll see Nico doing this a lot. Just coming to the top of Banana. If you feel like it's been evacuated, it's not part of the game plan to be at this part of the map. And Liquid have seen Gambit pretend to fight for Banana control a number of times now. So it's good to get a bit more frisky with it, right? They're giving up the map control, so now punish them for it. Show up at their front door, right? Stick the AK through the front door. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, Gambit are going to have to say next round, like, all right, we don't want that to happen anymore. We don't want Stewie 2K getting frisky with us and smelling up our doormat, because you never know if he's just going to barge through the door. And if he does, then we have the same situation like we had on A, where we don't have time to throw our Molotovs down. We don't know what this guy's made of. We got to make sure to get the situation under control. And the best way to do that in this game is to condition, to scare your opponents. Make sure they don't take map control for free. Make sure they play back when they didn't need to. You know what I mean? Be in their head. So sometimes some people might look at an overt risk here and there and say, that was a dumb play, or, oh, you got opt. But you will see that play work sometimes. And if you do that play 4 times, it works twice and it doesn't work the other 2 times, it's still 4 entire times that the other team had to be aware of it. That has to come into consideration as well. That now Shiro knows that Stewie will come to the top of Banana 4 times in 1 half and potentially peek me dry. I'm going to be scared to re-aggress. I'm not going to take map control by myself. I'm going to be scared to leave my post. These are all things that can play into the rest of the half and the conditioning of your opponents. See again, Gambit starting out with a very aggressive early mid setup, and I'm not sure if this is the particular rounds that will be fun to watch. Yeah, it might be from Alicia's perspective. So Nafany's in this spot. I've been calling it like Hunter or Rops because of how they're so good at playing it, but it's a very, very strong position that is getting used a lot in 2021 Inferno, even though it's always existed. And we'll see kind of why, but at the same time, we'll see it get countered. So we've got full halls control, Axel in a spot to, and again, zoning here as Axel has to fall back. So now Nafany did have a crossfire for a second, but now he doesn't. And look at the timing here as Nafany gets called out in this position, and Alicia's super careful to take him out. They explode on A out of halls. This is an unbelievably nice round from Team Liquid, both from coordinating with the halls attack, but also we saw the perfect amount of time on the zoning Molotov and the prod to the top of mid with the flash timed after the Molotov, because Nafany was playing anti-flash and then gave it up for a second because he didn't see any action. So he thought the Molotov was empty. He waits. Axel goes. He can't play anti-flash anymore. Eats the flash, dies. And then the halls pop to combine with that. This is Liquid playing, absolutely at their best. Very, very high level game by them, even though they didn't win the series. This is a really, really good stuff. And there it is, one more time. We get this peek from Stewie and the cheerleader stack over in pool with the remaining players. And once this happens, that's it. You already know where you can go and plant the bomb. So it's a cleanup. And now look at the liberties that Stewie's taking. But Shiro immediately shoots him in the side of the head. And he tries to get cover here, but Shiro gets dinged through the wall, doesn't get the frag. Nafany up to bat at the top of Banana, and he will take down Fallen with this angle. Very important angle that we'll see also Fallen use in the second half on the CT side. You don't have to understand all the time why off angles get taken. You can just copy and paste them for different reasons. They just offer you up nice... offer you up like a nice free arm that ends up sticking out every once in a while. And that's a very good spot too. It's a combination of things usually. Where people normally throw grenades from, where they clear other angles from. These are a couple of the things that can make an off angle. And this is a Liege actually completely offing Shiro, by the way. That was a beautiful shot. And now we see the strongest pillar in all of Counter-Strike. The porch pillar. An absolute nightmare on this map, this porch pillar. All right, now welcome into the second half. We're going to be watching the remaining rounds here. I don't remember what the final score is, so maybe it'll be more exciting to go ahead and just let it be a surprise. This was also a half where we saw a few nice T rounds from Gambit, But again, I think one of the best ways to learn is to compare two different styles and see them go up against each other specifically. So we will comment here and there about the CT setups and stuff like that, but it's going to be a bit more of a focus on Gambit and their T side and what they have to bring here. And you see that Stewie is already going to allow them to come into the site and let it become a retake. And there is obviously the idea that, they want to get this, but it's, oh my God, Hobbit's actually dumpstering them in underpass. I actually missed this. I can't believe how much damage he did. But looking at that fight, I realize how strong it is. My God, he is so easily able to hide his head, and he has an advantage on the first shot for every single player that drops in. No, he shouldn't have got 3 kills, but it was still fantastic stuff. And here's where you think that the game is going to fall on its head. Gambit win a 7th round. It's close enough. And let's again see, what the approach is like here from the T side on Banana. Talk a little bit about Banana. We'll talk a little bit about top mid and whatever situations present themselves. And as normal as this angle is that NAF is holding, it's also something to remember that like a lot of your CT side comes down to, at least do you have vision on mid with a not from arch? It seems like the most normal Inferno thing ever, but it's also one of the most important. And it's not necessarily that you need it all the time. It's, can you answer the question, do you have it? That's a very cute flash from Grim. I'll borrow that one, just peek with it. But a lot of the times, you can catch a bad team slipping that doesn't smoke your arch opper off and will let you maintain vision on mid for the entire game. And if they do that, then you will win by stacking B most of the time, or being able to, just punish rotations basically by having way too much information too easily. Because that is the absolute safest way on this whole map to hold onto information. If you're opping onto Banana, someone could peek you on top of the logs. Someone could peek you by boosting on the half wall. They could double swing. It's really sketchy. When you're at arch, you're almost guaranteed that kill if they come in to try to op you back or whatever it is, if you have a tight enough angle. And see, if you peek from lane, you can get peeked from boiler if you don't have a teammate in there, of course. So there's nothing quite like arch when it comes to holding on to a powerful angle with the op. And even it's one of the most simple things. Next time you find yourself in that spot and they're not smoking you off, don't second guess it. Don't run around. Don't move too much. You have a great spot that is going to win your team rounds. Use that spot, use that information to tell your team that they can rotate, stack B. You can tell your teammates to clear out holes while the rest of them stack B. Everyone rotates over, and all the while you just keep this powerful line in the mid and sit and wait and be patient. So this nade that Elysia is trying to throw will land where the T's might jump up into halls like this, where Fallen is opping now, and this Molotov allows him to hold on to this angle for a second, and then the smoke as well to assist him in this specific play. And Grim will get caught off here, lurking around the smoke by Hobbit. And Hobbit is also brave and smart enough to just sit here and realize that he has another pristine opportunity to potentially punish twice. But Fallen, it's not his first time. It's not his first rodeo, so he's not going to give that kill up for free. Here they bust through the smoke, but Nafany eats Shiro's flash, and they both don't have an advantage of being able to kill Elysia. Two of them are clearing different things. There's obviously a chance that Elysia gets flashed, but there's another reason why that spot is so strong, and I'm not sure if the flash was meant to go farther, but of course, Elysia could have eaten it. And this is a lurk smoke that Hobbit will throw at halls. I think this is actually a pretty beautiful move here from Hobbit, who is an absolute menace. So let's look at the importance here of this smoke out halls and what the CTs are doing now. So let's say this hall smoke didn't exist. You would say, well, Hobbit's just in the doorway. He can still see a lot. He can't see the site. But look at Stewie, okay? Because now Hobbit can jump up on the railing to look at him, he has Stewie's attention. Because Elysia's here inside of Graveyard, he has to worry about the jump out from the halls, as well as all of these other angles that Hobbit could try to fight from. So, and Hobbit can always walk out the back of the smoke finally if he feels like pit is clean. So this is why this position is so very strong. And Hobbit will even come out and clear a liege in a spot where Stewie cannot support him, right? If Hobbit was inside the halls, then Stewie could just make sure that a liege is safe the entire time. But at this point, Hobbit could take his time, protect himself from the site, and walk out the back. Another critically important smoke on this map. And, you know, here, I mean, the round is already over. I saw people in chat saying, like, bot Stewie, and stuff like this because he missed this shot. But, you know, anyone with eyes would see that this round is won as soon as Hobbit makes that play, because the setup is dependent on keeping them both alive, number one, and being able to keep halls under control. So Hobbit is, as always, a monster. And this is now Gambit with a small lead and a beautiful shot from Fallen. You saw the tip of his cap. Gave him a wag of his finger. Oh, and Elige tries to get all the way down to mid to try to flank Banana. This, I could see this play being unexpected, but of course it's Elige in an untradeable spot, and Fallen cannot support him with the op as well because he decides to turn the corner. So they went off of a good feeling there, but it wasn't the correct play that time. Sometimes that will happen. An insane move from Nafany. So obviously if you see someone rotating like that, you might be suspicious that they tried to pull off that boost. And that's why Nafany could come out and spot to the top of quad. That is such a nice move by him. And he didn't overswing at all, so it must have caught Stewie off guard from his vision. Oh, and then we have to look at this beautiful play from Naf, who was aware of the potential for a CT lurk. He got the second kill. He came back in for Axel. He really played them all like a fiddle. What an enormous save from Nafly. And this is Hobbit with nothing to do. I mean, he absolutely saved the day with this 3K play. Now, again, we see, like, you know, Shiro gets here and is comfortable holding for this peak that Fallen took last round. Fallen is going around to lane, which means he doesn't have a timing. He doesn't have a spawn. He's just taking an off angle to see if any Ts try to come up through ult or are running up mid, just to deny that. Fallen will see another player inside of the halls. Hobbit doesn't get killed, but gets spotted. And we see on our we see on the screen just fading is the window flash. I think we'll see people set this up more often. It's to support the T that is here on Banana with a flash from the spawn. You can see where the bomb carrier is. It's being thrown from around there. It's a very important flash as well, and it allows for the players who are on Banana to just get support from a very strong flash from far away. Because once you're actually in Banana, it's hard to throw sick flashes for yourself. You still have some, but the best ones are going to come from way far back. You can't hear that pin being pulled. You can't see the trail of the flash. And now we've got a monster amount of map control here from the T side. But Fallen immediately tries to disrespect this in a fantastic move. You love to see this. It's a risk on Fallen's behalf. They can boost up on any small timing here, but he also can open himself up to a timing where they're not expecting a re-aggression. There's no flash as well. So now we're going to see if they are going to eat this. Axel does jump just to bait a shot, and now they can move into a very strong spot here at the top of Banana, make their intentions clear. And this is once again the God Flash. Molotov should come down. It's a bit slow, and Stewie ends up eating that nade as well. I think that should have just come down right away. Of course, from our perspective, it's a little bit more obvious, but I think he didn't want to look like the fool there and throw the flash too early, or throw the Molotov too early when it was just one God Flash. But that's a sick execution from Gambit, and we can see they are trying to find these in-between timings too. They're a bit more aggressive about it, and that was just a hard round to read. You saw that, like, that slight moment where Fallen was like, is this the execute or not? Do I want to trade my $600 incendiary for the $200 flash that they can throw a total of 10 times, right? And just that one small timing is exactly what Gambit needed to get in through the door. We see the speed at which Gambit move here on the T side is actually even faster than Team Liquid. And I think that's an important thing to remember. They throw this combination flash. They don't get the opper in a moment where that would have been an insane find. That would have been the ho-oh of the round. That would have been opening up a Pokemon booster pack and getting a Venusaur right there of the round. And we see once they make that move at that specific tempo, things change drastically. Everything slows down to a crawl. The smoke goes down at the bottom of B, and we see a flash setup. It's a miss, actually. Yeah, this flash is missed. That's not the window flash. It's just a different one. But it helps you clear out a lot of the same angles and just approach onto banana control. And now with those two players, they take it, and they hold on to halls as well, waiting for a push. So they're demanding that the CTs try to come and find them, right? If if you're assuming your opponents are good, these are the kind of plays that you want to make so you can really test them. You say, we're taking map control, but all the while you're really spread out. And Gambit gets pummeled coming onto the site. Grim throws this smoke for himself. Smokes are also very important to throw preemptively for this reason. So Grim throws this smoke at his feet. It gives him a one-way, number one. It also insulates him from any Molotovs that come his way. He doesn't have to worry about them. He doesn't worry about dodging them. They can't land anywhere near him. So he gets a little bit of a vision there. He also has a way to escape. He can sit in the smoke if he wants to. But ideally, he gives himself a little pocket to fight in and complete protection. A little insurance. From the Molotovs that love landing in pit. So they will throw the car Molotov, which is just designed to stop any oppers from peeking you early on in the round. Again, it's like to establish. It doesn't gain you tons of controls, but it's like, hey, CTs, you can't do this. And then let's go. And they're trying to keep it tricky. Some things we're going to see are some nades that get thrown. Some nades that get thrown just to make it seem like it's something else. Some nades get thrown to make it seem, like it's the same round that you just saw. There's a lot of deception from the utility and the timings in CS. And Fallen's in a very strong spot. It can dodge a lot of flashes, of course. And Nafly is also in a very, very strong position. A beautiful spray transfer. I hate that Nafly doesn't even aim train, apparently. Hates aim training and can just put together incredible spray transfers. It just goes to show you that aim is about comfort and nothing else. Aim is about comfort and nothing else. And that could mean that you need to aim train a ton to be comfortable, and that can mean you need to aim train less to be comfortable. Maybe you're spraying too much in aim training. That's making you spray too much. Maybe it's just a confidence thing. Your confidence is low. It has nothing to do with the trading at all. But it is whatever gets you in that mindset and whatever gets you comfortable. Once you know how to do it, of course. How to do the act. And the other number one thing is you don't get to play one official a week and be good, right? You do have to play. And playing is the number one way to stay sharp. More than DM, watching down with anything like that. The number one way to improve at the game is to play the game. All right, this is a strong spot for defending against halls. Of course, you get this nice clear vision of the sky as well in case they try to flash you. And Grim does a great job here of dodging that flash by pushing himself up against the wall. Takes one out on halls. And they've traded out just fine. Shiro's only 10 HP. And even though it is Shiro, he just doesn't have the health to be able to pull this off. Surely, especially with the halls flank coming in, it could be a stretch to believe that he'll be able to get anything done here. And Stewie will kill him as he falls down, and Liquid are up 13-11. And you can see the intention from the T sides to come through this smoke. Off of timing, they're going to do it with absolutely no flash whatsoever, and they almost caught Team Liquid twiddling their thumbs. That was very, very close. That's all the timing you're looking for. One guy got his hands busy, trade the other one out, but they can't get through Keith right now. Keith is a wall. This Molotov here to make it seem like they're mollying the stairs. We call back to that earlier setup where the stairs were mollied for Fallen so that Fallen could op into the window room. And Hobbit is the guy who's jumping up into the window room. So he can hear this and maybe thinks that Fallen is there on the steps. Meanwhile, Fallen is actually down looking at the halls. Hobbit is here. Look how prepared he is for Fallen. As we saw, he's trying to bait the shot out again. And there is no kill here for Fallen to take. But again, they are not expecting him here on this side of the stairs. And even if they are, they've got a little additional support in Grim. This is a very cool way to contextualize a trick that Liquid tried to pull off before, how Hobbit is trying to mind game the situation. And we'll see if it'll benefit them. But now Hobbit has cleaned out the boiler steps, and his teammates have also taken some control here. So let's see if they overstayed their welcome. Wow, Hobbit crouches right underneath Grim after taking his time and decimates him. Will he be able to read the rest of this? It looks like yes. And Hobbit, will he find the timing? Oh, no, he'll let Fallen go just by a hair. Just by a hair. But a beautiful, you know, again, it's just Hobbit being so damn smart about what's in front of him, you know? Brand new tactic comes his way. It's a trick off of something that happened to him previously. He's in the same spot getting that info they wanted to get, but he's so careful. Doesn't overstep his bounds. You see another player die in this situation, you don't think twice. You know, oh, that's like whatever. Anyone would have died there. But you look at Hobbit, and he's got that extra little bit of awareness. And Elise shuts it down on the A sites. Not much to do in this spot. Fallen will take him out 15-11. And the aggressive play down mid. And this Molotov again, opening up an angle. We're thinking about opening up an angle as a consistent theme in this. What does the Molotov do for me in this few seconds? And conversely, from the T perspective, when you see a Molotov, what angles are they opening up? Not just what are they mollying. Where can they stand? Right? I think this is breaking through into the higher level of your game, is understanding this. I talk to a lot of people who say they don't know how to get better. I think these are some of the concepts that they're not thinking about. And that's Stewie dying on the corner. Again, a low friction entrance onto the B side. A single flashbang. Everybody exploding. Punishing Liquid for getting this up close and personal. And Stewie's there hoping that they have one person jump spotting. Whatever. Particularly dangerous way to do it, of course. It's not back in the spawn watching the wall a little bit. It's all the way almost down banana. But they really wanted that smoke. So there's where the cost will be. Credit to Gambit. And even if Stewie gets one, you know, that's still a win for Gambit because they get the op and then they have a 4v4 with pistols. They're happy to take that. Now I see the smoke come to the bottom of banana. Just because you smoke the bottom of banana doesn't mean you take it all the time. Sometimes it's in order to dissuade. Sometimes you smoke to draw out utility, right? Let's say your opponents are, they see the smoke, then they get antsy. Oh, we need to do something to get this back. Let's time some Molotovs at the end of the smoke. Boom, you've drawn out 2 Molotovs for later on in the round. So just because you're watching this, it doesn't mean you have to watch the smoke just because you throw it. And Grim on his favorite angle in halls will take out Hobbit. This is a huge scalp to take just because of how well Hobbit is playing at the moment. You know, this could very well be the end of the game. We'll see. See that flash we saw from earlier in the game? Fallen will end up getting flash but still win that kill. And now there's 3 players up from Gambit who are juggling back and forth. 2 opening tactics basically have failed for Gambit and have been punished by Team Liquid, which is a great sign for them. And now they're just going to try to make something happen. You can see this pillar is so useful. Stewie loves playing in the spot these days, and it is just so, you know, it's so versatile, especially when people are mollying out emo, mollying out quad. There's so many great pieces of utility to focus on every single spot. That's become one of the last places that you can find safe haven in, and it is very nice, I think, for you on the CT side. I think my camera's lagging a little bit.